We're live. Awesome. Cool.
Woo!
Let me do it. Let me do a quick introduction, everybody over here. So welcome to the Real Estate Social Rockstar Show. This is a show where we bring in influential individuals in the real estate space to help give you advice to build your real estate business. And today we have a big question that we're going to be tackling, a big issue. I honestly don't know if we're going to be able to accomplish it. So I'm really excited to hear this interview. Let me tell you what we're going to be discussing. We're going to be discussing whether you can get over your fear of going live. Let me be more specific. We all know it's great to use social media. We all know it's great to go on video. We all know it helps build better relationships when you get in front of people. But a lot of us are scared to just turn on the camera and go live. It's scary, right? Well, today we have a special guest with us, Sue Benson, known as Pinky, who is going to she is going to attempt and explain to us how you can get over your fear of going live. A little bit more of an introduction for Sue. Sue is in Naples. She is a real estate agent in Naples, Florida, successful, uses a lot of video. I've learned a lot from her. I've watched a lot of videos when she explains what she's going to do. So I was very honored when she agreed to come on the show to share with you guys not only what she does, but how she got over her fear as well. Sue, thank you very, very much for joining our show and welcome.
That's quite an introduction. I don't know if I can live up to all the hype. Wow.
I don't know. This is what people need to stick around and find out, because I have a feeling you're going to knock this out of the park. It's a lot of people. Everyone says just get on camera. I tell even my own agents, I say go on camera all the time, and some of them are scared. So do you think you're going to be able to help our guests deal with that fear they have of getting on camera and going live?
Going live. You know what? I think that, like, not even just live, just getting in front of the, your phone and being like, yo, what's up, peeps? Anything is, intimidating when it comes to the camera to so many people. And my comfort level is obviously very, very high. Like, I'm like, hey, what's up? What's going on? So it definitely is a challenge. And I noticed it with a lot of my friends that are also realtors. And, they're like, oh, I don't know how to get over it. And I'm like, it's really not that hard once you understand yourself. So a lot of it is about yourself, and not to get all psychoanalyze-y here, but you definitely have to know who you are. That's the first step. If you're going to fake it, you're not going to make it, sweet pea.
So what I'd like to accomplish in the next 30 minutes for all the people that are watching this on Facebook Live right now, for all the people that are going to be listening to this on a podcast later, so people are going to hear this in a variety of different ways, because you are going to you every time I hear you share some great wisdom. So I know you're going to now, and I'm going to be glad to share this with as many people as possible. So number one is I'd love to hear from you. Maybe some steps or things that people can do. But before we even go that, I want to bring you to the stage here a little bit, and maybe tell people a little bit about yourself. And I don't know, did you grow up in Naples? I don't think so.
No,
there?
I'm not.
A little bit. Tell us about yourself.
In Naples. Okay, I'll give you the quick little shortened version of my story. And there is a little sadness in it, so you guys got to bear with me. My goal is not to make you cry, but I'm very honest. I'm very open. So here's the thing. I grew up in Clearwater Beach. I went to college in Lakeland, Florida, tiny little college called Florida Southern. Woo woo, go Mocs. I worked at Disney World while I was in college, so I earned my mouse years, got my mouse years. And then from there, I went into television. So I worked for a very long time in Tampa. And no, I was not on camera for a very long time. I was a producer. I used to actually be the bad girl who, you wrote in if you had a consumer complaint. You were like, oh, this business, they screwed me over. I was the one that helped fix the problem. And I had a reporter that I wrote the stories for. That eventually led me into being able to do my own kind of niche stories. And then I had some babies, and I decided that I was going to stay at home for a little while. One of my bestest friends was the broker of the RE/MAX, and I started first coming in and just doing you know, answering the phones, hey, what's up? It's Remax, you know, that kind of thing. And then it led me into doing a partnership with one of my other best friends. And that's where we started. And that was in a small town just outside of Tampa. And I started when the recession was at its worst. Everybody in their right minds was looking at me going like, what the hell are you doing? And I said, well, whatever goes down has to go back up again. So I might as well learn at the worst point, and then I'll be ready when it's a whole lot better. So that was kind of my theory on it. And that was a good, what, 8 years ago now. So I stayed in that market for a long period of time, and I really was able to build my brand with the whole Pink Lady of Real Estate was where I went. And then the video infusion kind of started, you know, it was like a light bulb moment. I met with Katie Lance at a conference she was doing, and they were talking about doing videos. And I was like, well, this is an easy transition for me because obviously I have the background. So, you know, I started with, you know, these really long frickin' videos. They were like 7 minutes long talking about, you know, a $60,000 house. And from there, which by the way, those are the hardest videos to do because there's not much to talk about when it comes to a $60,000 house. I just want you to know that. You know, so from there, I kind of grew my brand and became, you know, Pink Lady of Real Estate. And this is, like I said, just north of Tampa, 45 minutes north of Tampa. So the average price of a home there is about $120,000. Then what happened was I got pregnant, and this was my third child, and it was kind of a shocker that I was pregnant. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can't be running buyers all over the place. So I really got to focus in on getting listings because I knew that my skills were in marketing, and to be able to have a child and work from home was really key to me and be able to market those homes for sale. And so I started getting into the listing side of it and loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, what was I doing with all these buyers all this time? I'm like, woohoo for the sellers. And unfortunately, my son, Sawyer, was diagnosed. Well, he wasn't diagnosed really, but he wasn't thriving. And eventually it led to him passing away, which was just over a year ago. And we decided as a family that we were ready to take on new challenges, kind of start fresh. And we moved to Naples, which is where my husband's actually from. And so I've been in Naples just about a year, just over a year. And we have, you know, I've rebuilt my brand as Pinky Knows Naples. And this is kind of my journey. My documentation is, you know, Gary Vee likes to say, document, don't create it. And I'm documenting my journey to get to know the town I'm in, get to sell properties in the town I'm in, and what works and what doesn't work. And because so many people are out there telling you, do this, do that, do this. And it's like, well, what really works and what really doesn't work? And so this has kind of been my journey through that whole process.
Well, I did know your story, and I just wanted to, you know, give you the opportunity to share it if you wanted to. And, you know, obviously not to delve too much into it, but what I've always admired about you was, first of all, I didn't know your story when we first met, and I didn't know the difficulties and challenges that you had. And you were always just this fun, bubbly, pink lady. As a matter of fact, I don't remember how we originally first met, but what I do remember is either being on Facebook or being on Snapchat and seeing all these little emoji thingies with pink around them or something. And you said something like, Michael, what do you think? And I was like right away, like, wow, this she knows marketing. And you just you know, like through a lightning bolt. Entered my you know, my social world, and I appreciate that. So
crazy.
But what, you know, what I always tell people is that you know, it's the people that are successful, it's not about how hard they fall, but it's about how, you know, how quickly they get up. And obviously you've dealt with and I'm sure still deal with hard times, and it's just it's an inspiration to see how, you know, how you stand strong. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Well, thank you.
So let me ask you this. So now you are in Naples and it's a new area. Did you know a lot of people when you moved there?
My husband's family. So no, as far as like having friends, no, I didn't know anybody, and I didn't have connections to any businesses. I didn't have anything. So it was literally starting from zero.
Gotcha. Okay. And so it's interesting for the people that are listening or watching this, so that they know that you went into an area where you didn't, you didn't know everybody, and you're
No.
starting from scratch. And I think that that's very valuable for a lot of new agents that are joining into the marketplace, or maybe switching territories, where they get scared and they say, we don't know anybody, we don't know everything, I don't have time to waste on video, I don't have time for this, I don't know anybody. And here I'm watching you, and you're telling me you went to a town that you didn't know anybody, and now you're the pink lady of real estate. So
I mean, it's still in the progress, it's still in process. I'm not going to tell you that I have 15,000 listings, because that's not the case. I have currently one listing, and it's from the process of going through this. And at the beginning of the year, I was talking to my girlfriend, and she goes, well, what are your goals? And I said, well, if I can sell one property in Naples this year, I will be happy. And she looked at me and she goes, but you're the blankety blank pink lady of real estate. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm in a new territory. I'm not saying I'm not going to close business in other areas, because I still had business in my old area. I'm like, but from beginning to end, I want to list the property, market the property, and sell the property, because that would be an accomplishment. Because you have to understand, I went from a place where there was 400 realtors to a place that there's 4,000 realtors. And that's a huge difference, not to mention the price change. And yeah, I went from a place where you could literally count on your hand how many gated communities there were. Now I'm in a place that they have 90 championship golf courses. So you know how many gated communities that is? Here's the thing. You're going to be overwhelmed. When you first go into a new market, whether you're a new realtor or whatever, it can be overwhelming, period. Like, you just think, oh my God, how am I going to conquer this? And it's just like anything in life. You have to take it literally chunk by chunk. In grief, you have to take it day by day to be able to handle it. Because if you look at the bigger picture, it's too overwhelming. So, when I go out and I want to learn about Naples, or I want to learn about a community, I get a listing, I learn everything I can about that community, because I'm not farming one particular neighborhood, but when I'm there, I'm going to know my stats while I'm there. So you have to take it chunk by chunk to build your business. You're not going to be able to go in and just accomplish everything in one day. Patience is the virtue, right? You've got to be able to be patient and take it in little baby steps.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. Sue, I'm going to pause for a second right now. I'm going to ask you something. If you can go to my Facebook wall and share this onto your Facebook wall, so that it is top right over there on your, it might be on your business, but you can share it on your personal one as well.
Okay, that's good. Oh, that's probably what it is. Add to timeline. There, did that work? Are we?
Let's see, I'm checking out your wall. Is it going to be there? Great. Okay, it's now showing up on your wall. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to segue back into this. And you were just saying that. So let me just repeat. I'll make sure that I heard what you're saying. So you're in Naples. You're there for a year now, and you're going around. And your goal isn't to become the #1 real estate agent in Naples in your first year in the business. But you're out there and you want to go through an entire life cycle of a deal, from purchase to sale. And so something that I think is important, I want to share with people. There are going to be people that are listening to this that might have never done their first deal, or they're going to be people that are listening to this that have done hundreds of deals, and they're going to ask the following question. They're going to say, so, Sue, Michael, you're saying video is great and we should get over our fears and so on and so forth. But Sue's working on her first sale. Why doesn't she go cold call or whatever it is, which maybe you do anyways. But I want to say something that I think is very, very important to those people. It's very important. So when I look at you, I look at a really deep, thorough brand. So if I'm a seller looking to sell a property and I meet you now and I go look you up online right now, I will hire you, right? You have the difference between you having one listing and 100 listings right now is really just the number of people that are getting to know you. It takes time for people to find you, for people to know you. If you were to connect with a top listing agent right now in your company, you'd probably double his business because you would bring a strong brand to his business. So your focus on this year is knowledge, building product knowledge, and branding. For people watching this, the value and the whole point that I want you to get out of this show, because every show we want to get something really deep and something great. And the value in this show is that it's not enough to just go get 100 listings. Because if you just get 100 listings without having this deep, pink, video, in your face, brand, when your 100 listings sell, you're going to have to go back on that cold call and find 100 more listings. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Heck, I did that for years on the phones all the time, nonstop. Call. And I learned from my experience that, you know what, I should have spent a little more time on the branding aspect so that I didn't have to make as many calls. My old calls would turn into future calls. And that's what, like, when I look at you and I project out a couple of years from now, you're going to kill it.
Oh,
just because people are going to, people are going to see you. They're going to know you. They're going to see what it is. And so tell me a little bit about what you're doing with video. You're profiling businesses. I see a lot of really great content coming.
Okay, well, for
someone has their audio.
Let me pop that up. Okay, is that better now? Are we good? Okay. So, first of all, I started videos by showcasing the properties. And I'm not saying your boring virtual tours with the, crappy music in the background. Sorry, guys, it sucks. Don't do it. It's more, I can get in front of the camera, which I realize a lot of people can't, but you get in front of the camera and you can showcase parts of the home that you can't get no matter how many thousands of pictures you take. So that was what I first started with, was doing the videos showcasing the houses. So for when I came into Naples, I was at a RE/MAX retreat actually, and Michael Thorne, who's like my idol in all things video, he has a boot camp, and it's like, do 30 videos in 30 days. It establishes who you are within your community. And it was really about showcasing the community. And, doing 30 videos in 30 days is extremely difficult. I've tried. What I found is that I have to do it at my own rate. You have to do what works for the best for you, but it's consistency. So I started with, little companies, just interacting with them on social media. And, it was just very simple things. And then I started like, you know what, I could do a Facebook Live. Now that we have the live capabilities, I could do a Facebook Live. So I did my first Facebook Live at a supermarket. It's called Lucky Supermarket. And I did this, and it was great because the person I was interviewing actually had a very good camera presence herself. So she was able to interact with me well because she was a media relations person. So we did this, and I started noticing the interaction level. And I'm like, I wonder if I do this on a regular basis, if I can continue it as a show. And so then it just kind of grew from there. And every Friday at 1 o'clock, now I have this expectation of doing this little show. And while I'm there, I get extra video that I then put into, which this is when you can play the little video if you want, is when I go back later, and it's not at the same time frame. I wait a few weeks, I put it together, and then I re-release it. And it's like 2 minutes long, and it shows, this is the store, these are the attributes, these are the, and then it's something that the company can share. And it also has my information in it. And it's not a sales pitch like, hey, I'm a realtor, I want to sell you a house, And that's the thing, is that especially like, with the millennials, they don't want to be sold to. They want to interact. They want a relationship. They want, they want to know who you are. I mean, we've gone over this like a gazillion times. So we want to, they want to know who you are. So if you're out there sales pitching real estate every single day, people are going to tune you out. It just becomes too monotonous. So yeah, I've taken on the community, and some days it's not necessarily business. It's, for example, last Friday, I was out at Tin City, which is like, a tourist place in town, but that's what people want to see. And I do my research, just like if I'm going into a house and I know it has 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, and 1,200 square feet, I go out to Tin City. I know when it was made. I know its history. So I try to throw that up there as information because people really do like that. They like to know the history of the town or the history of the street, or, I did one where we talked about like where the first street light was in town, the first street light. And it's just people, even though they live there, they may not know the history of their town. It's just, you have to know your city. But what works for me is being able to go into these little community shops and featuring them, because the part of it is, they're mom and pops. And a lot of them do not know how to embrace social media. And if you are a realtor and you're using it for yourself, then you're already one step ahead of them. So why not help them? You know, you help them, they're going to be more likely to help you later. Like, oh, you need a realtor? Here's her card. She's really awesome. You can find her online. And branding is important because for me, there were like 5 Sues in my office. God knows I love all my Sue friends. But it was like, you know, do you want Sue B, Sue Z, Sue P? You know, and I was like, just the crazy lady with the pink stuff, you know, and that worked, you know. So that's—
There's a Soupy in your office?
There what?
You have a Soupy in your office?
There was a Sue P and a Sue Z, and then there was Sue B, me. And I'm like, there's no way anybody's going to figure out who the hell I am. So, you know, it was me with a giant hat. I wore a lot of big giant hats, which my husband's not thrilled about because I have a whole lot of those. And it was like, you know, I just want that crazy lady with the hat. And so it worked for me. But and that leads us into how to get comfortable in front of the camera, which is you have to be who you are. And if you guys have seen the recent show, what is it? Suicide Squad. And Harley Quinn is in Suicide Squad. And there's a line in the movie that literally my husband turned to me and was like, did she steal this from you? Because I'm always saying it and it drives him nuts. But it is, and forgive me if you're profanity, cover your ears, but she says, you got to own that shit. And that's really what it comes down to, because so many times people are like, you know, oh, I'm 20 pounds overweight. Sweet pea, you're going to be 20 pounds overweight tomorrow. All right. Maybe you lose a pound between now and then because you're working on it. Good. Kudos for you. But if you're going to wait until all of that weight is off and you own it, then, you know, it's going to be a while before you start getting in front of the camera. Whereas you can get on and you can talk about your weight challenge and that you're getting down to that weight. Or, you know, I've had a friend who she has an accent and she's like, oh, I don't want to go on the camera because people don't understand me. I said, then own it and be like, hey, if you can't understand me, whoop, bam, here's the captions. You know, so make fun of yourself. I mean, we all do. I'm the crazy lady with all that pink crap. I know people say it about me. I own it, you know. So I think that's really, you got to own your shit. And that's really the first key in getting in front of the camera, because you can't fake it. You have to know who you are. And then from there, you know, you've got to get comfortable. And the first comfort level I'm going to tell you about is the fact that you need to be in a place where you're comfortable. So if you are not, you know, if you're not comfortable being in a vacant home, you know, talking about the house, then don't do it there. If you're more comfortable sitting on your couch talking about housing statistics, because that's where you learn them or that's where you are, then start there. And here's the other thing with video, because people are not always going to tune in just to watch real estate. I mean, come on, it's boring, you know? I mean, unless you're buying a house, you really don't care that much. And we're not all the property brothers here, so it's not that entertaining. So you have talk about something you know, and I'll say this, you know, my husband is kind of the introvert in our relationship. He's more shy. And I was out with him on the golf course one day, and I don't golf. We just went out there for the afternoon. And all of a sudden, my husband's demeanor completely changes from this shy guy to this outgoing, very confident, like, and I mean, to the point that I was like, did he just do a couple shots of liquor? Like, was I not looking? Like, what happened to him? And it really was the fact that he was in his comfort zone. So boom, that's when you do the video, because he's comfortable. He can talk about golf. He knows his sports. And so you have to know, like, where am I comfortable? If it's on the back end of a horse, then do it on the back end of a horse and talk about horses. I mean, if that's what you own, because people are going to relate to that. And so you should start where you're comfortable, because this can be very intimidating, holding that phone in front of you. So, you know, once you get to the point that you're comfortable and you're talking about what you're comfortable knowing, then when you go outside of that, you're going to, you know, you're going to start expanding from there, you know, then go to the house, you know, and you know, for me, I always say, take it in small chunks. Don't try to do the 20-minute Facebook Live the first time you've ever held the camera in front of you. Like, if you're not going to, you know, if that's not something you've ever done before, don't do 20 minutes in here, because it'll just kill you and you'll be like, oh my God, I'm so freaked out. But do it in little chunks. And I say that, you know, Snapchat's a wonderful forum to start off. I mean, I just told my girlfriend that I'm coaching on videos. You know, I said to her, why don't you just go on there? You don't have any followers, and just practice, because it makes you shorten things down. It makes you get precise. and you can play with it, you know, and you can see, oh, like that sucked. I don't want to say that, you know, and you will find that you are refining your skills. For example, I have a very private Instagram page that's only for very close friends. And I was talking about a topic, which is grief, and very personal to me. And I wanted to be able to do it in a way that I felt safe and comfortable. And I wanted to be able to get my thoughts together precisely. And so I used it on Instagram, and it's 1-minute videos about me talking about grief. And it made me able to do a Facebook Live on the topic, because it wasn't my comfort zone. So we're always out of our comfort zones on some topic. So start where you're comfortable, start with little videos, and don't try to kill yourself, like, you know, thinking they have to be perfect, because they're not going to be perfect. And here's the thing, you know, when reality shows first came out, we were all addicted to them because we were like, oh, it's real. You know, this is really happening. And then we found out that there's actually producers back there, like telling them like, hey, do this and call her that. And, you know, and then we were like, oh, well, this sucks. So now we're on to more like this, because we want the reality. We don't want the poofed up, perfect hair, blah, blah, blah. You know, I mean, I just did a Snapchat story recently, got through the whole thing, and I realized I had a strawberry seed stuck in my front tooth. And I'm like, holy crap, are you kidding me? I'm like, I just did this whole thing. I'm like, and I was so tempted to delete and start over. And then I was like, forget it. This is real. This is real. So I just called myself out. I'm like, look, I had a stupid seed in my, you know, mouth the entire time. Thanks, guys, for telling me. So you have to start, you know, small, keep it easy. You know, I've even challenged some of my clients. I say, you know what, just go out, because so many people don't even know how to use the video button on their phone. I said, it doesn't have to be live. Just go out, and whatever you're doing, take 10 seconds of video that day and post it on Facebook and see what kind of response you get. You know, just 10 seconds of showing a house, 10 seconds of the water out at the beach, 10 seconds, and you'll realize that you're going to get better with it each time, you know, and that's kind of, you know, where it's at. But you know, the focus on your fear is one of the things that I really think people need to realize. And again, this is huge psychoanalyzing here, but you have to know what you're afraid of. And, you know, for one of my girlfriends that I'm helping, you know, she was really worried about the haters out there, because we all know there's trolls and they're everywhere. And when I pointed out to her that, you know, they're going to dislike whatever you do, regardless of what you do or don't do, you know, and she was like, once you said that, once I realized, like, hey, you know, I could win the Nobel Peace Prize and they're still going to dislike me. There's nothing I'm going to be able to do to win them over. And I also suggested that she might want to defriend some people if she's really that worried about it. Yeah. But, you know, you have to know, like, is your audience really, are you scared of your audience? Because if you are, then own that and say, okay, what is it about my audience? Am I really catering to just this one person who may or may not be watching? And who gives a shit? Like, I'm done with this, you know? So you have to psychoanalyze yourself. Is it really that you're afraid of the way you speak? Well, you speak every day. So why are you afraid of the way you speak? That you're afraid somebody's going to come up to you and say, hey, you sound funny? Well, what kind of person are they that they're judging you based on that? They're not a very nice person in my book. I mean, that's just kind of how I see it. So when you first start don't, you know, I know I'm throwing a lot out here, but, you know, don't go and analyze the video over and over again. You know, they're like, oh, check this, watch this. What do you think? I'm like, do you think it works? Then put it up there. You know what I mean? Just put it out there and start creating it, because the consistency is going to be the key, as always with anything. And don't sit there and overanalyze yourself, because if I sat there and overanalyze myself, yeah, my hair looks bad. Oh, you know, the shirt's not going the right way. I mean, everybody's going to have the error. And like I said, it's that reality that people want. They want the, you know, oh, her hair's sticking up in the background and it looks silly. And, you know, because that's real. It's not fake. It's not produced by, you know, some great film crew, you know, that's just how it is.
Yeah. Those are all great tips. I heard you once saying, it was maybe something like this, maybe not exactly, but my recollection is vague. You were talking about, you know, people recording themselves, and I think I was actually walking and watching you talk about this on Snapchat, and you were telling people about, you know, when you're starting, especially film, in a place where you feel comfortable. Like if you are scared that you're going to walk into people and hit them with your camera while you're walking down the street or something, don't walk down the street and do that. I don't know if you said that, but I was walking down the street when I heard this, and it got me thinking, even for myself, advice that I give to people. I'm always telling my agents, just turn on the lens and start filming and go out there. You're in New York City. We're a brokerage in New York City, and go out there, and there's so much to film. And until I heard you talking about this, I didn't step back and think for a second. And now I'm not telling my agents, go out there and film New York City. I think it's great. But if you're nervous to be walking around in a busy city where you can like fall in a pothole, then go into a park and sit on a bench and sit in quiet or sit at home. So yeah, I think it's a good tip that no matter how nervous somebody might be, there's got to be some way for them to sit down for 10 or 20 seconds even on a comfortable couch and just turn on their thing and say, this is my first time on Facebook Live. I'm super uncomfortable with this, but somebody told me I had to do it. You know what? Tell people that you made a bet or that you lost a bet.
Yeah,
you don't even want to do this. Somebody forced you to do it. Blame it on someone else.
Well, and even
that you had to.
Even with Facebook Live, I even say though, I do say though that if you're going to go after the big dog, which is the Facebook Live at this point, if you're going to go after it, do have a topic in mind that, because it is very intimidating, because I think that that's a part with Facebook Live. What if I get on and nobody else gets on? And you're like, so you're sitting there and you're like, okay, how long do I leave this on before somebody else joins me? I know, oh my God, nobody's talking to me. So have something to talk about, and then people will start to join you. So, and that's why I said, like, if I'm walking down Fifth Avenue in downtown Naples, I make sure that I have something, whether it's, the history of Fifth Avenue, or if I'm in front of Starbucks, I talk about the stats on Starbucks. So if you do have something that you want to talk about, could be about your weight loss journey or your struggle with your, whatever is going on in your life, so you could have a lot of things, but be prepared to talk about something. Don't just get on there and be like, yo, what's up, dog? Who's hanging out here? Because
if you did that, I would think I'd be pretty funny. I don't know. I'd watch it.
It could be very funny, but for some people,
said, yo, what's up, dog? I think it would be interesting. But yes, I know. But I get, but I get what you're saying. We need you with like a pink hat to the side.
Oh. Yeah, I'm sure people would tune in for that one, right?
So basically, what I'm gathering that you're saying over here to people is, first of all, you're not getting on live for live's sake, just like you wouldn't call someone up and, it's a good idea to call people and try to get them to list their home for sale, right? It's a good idea. Why not call people, get them to list their home for sale if you know how to do it right? But it's not a good idea to say, I'm going to call people, and then you get over your fear, you dial the number, it's ringing, and then you say, hi.
Hello, what's going on over there?
Wait, hold on, let me get my script. Right, yeah. Same deal. If you're going to call them, call with intent. You better have, if you go on Facebook, my intent right now is to, so this is Facebook Live. This is where we're being broadcasting right now. And I have Sue here. And my intent going on Facebook Live is I want people to see how Sue handles getting in front of a camera and looking so natural and not afraid. And the fact that she doesn't just do it, but she has thoughts behind it. So my intention is to share your experience with other people to help them overcome their fear and thereby make everybody better, increase what I call the Meier fire in the room, get everybody all fired up, get everyone shaking things up, right? That's my intention. If I did it, this would be a really boring, awkward, not worthwhile thing to listen or watch.
No. And, and here's the thing, a lot of people will say, oh, she has a background in broadcasting, so that's why she's comfortable in front of the camera. And yeah, I'm not going to lie that, I haven't met a camera I didn't like yet. However, back when I was first starting to doing my news things, they started trying to, coach me on my voicing. And then one of the big things that they did for me was they wanted me to use my formal name, which is Susan. And I never say Susan. You will never hear me say Susan. And the only person that calls me Susan is my mother, and it's when I'm in trouble. So just me trying to say my name, it like, I couldn't say Susan Slayton, Fox 13 News, like it did not come out right. And, you know, and then it was like, oh, you have to wear a jacket, you have to. And so when they started tweaking with those things, that it's not something that I'm comfortable with, it's not something that I would do, I sucked. And so it was like, you know, once I was able to like step away and be me, and I could say, okay, I'm going to wear this, and this is why I'm wearing this, because I'm comfortable with it. And I'm going to call myself Pinky because that's what works for me. You know, then you own it, and you're comfortable with it. When you're within that comfort zone, you're going to be able to perform well. It's when somebody else is trying to dictate to you who you are. And if that's not who you are, then, you know, you literally, you know, people put us in, you know, little bubbles, and they expect us to be one person. And sometimes you just have to literally punch back and say, no, this is who I am. And I'm sorry that you see me this way, but, you know, this is who I really am, and this is how I'm going to handle it. And I think that can come across in front of the camera as well. You just need to know who you are. So it comes back to, you got to own that shit, people. You got to own it.
Yeah, that's perfect. And Sue, just to throw in, because we are right now at Facebook Live, and there's some people that are commenting over here that are saying, they think they're saying
I can't see it. I love comments, and I can't see it.
Yeah, so let me share with you. So a couple of things. You know, first of all, we have Jacqueline in my office who is saying that whenever uncomfortable on Snap, I just throw on a filter.
Oh, that's
instant face of makeup or a mask to be someone else. And that's a great tip, guys. And you can, you know, even on Facebook Live, you can draw on your face while you're talking now and do all this fun stuff. So yeah, if you're a little uncomfortable, it's your first time or whatever. And Jacqueline is fantastic with, you know, with her filters. And then, you know, a lot of people are obviously saying how great you are. So thank you for being, you know, on the show. You know, so, but I think that's some very valuable things. So let's maybe summarize some of the points. So the takeaways that I'm gathering over here, takeaway number one, you don't need to go 20 minutes. When you start, go short, keep it narrow, just.
Especially if you're recording it. If you're recording it, keep it at 2 minutes or under if you can. You know, I mean, the sweet spot, I think, is just around a minute is what they say. If you can get them past like the first 3 to 5 seconds of your video, you usually have them engaged. So, you know, don't go long, especially on the recorded videos.
Perfect. Second thing for overcoming your fears. Second thing that you mentioned is do it in a comfortable place. You know, video yourself in an area that you feel most comfortable. And, you know, you don't need to go do the craziest uncomfortable thing.
Yeah, talk about what you're comfortable with. And and here's what I might add to that, because we as women, we have this thing that men don't have, which is we have to look good on camera, because if we don't, people will like judge. And it's horrible, but it's the truth, and we know it. And, you know, I wish we could all look fabulous without makeup, but some of us just can't. And so my thing is, when you're first trying to do it, put your makeup on, do your hair to the, you know, put on your wedding dress if that's what makes you feel like you're gonna look 1,000 times better. Put yourself, you know, make yourself look good, because if you don't feel good and you're like, I'm just gonna do this because I'm being told to do it, then it's gonna look awful and you're not gonna be happy with the results. So in the beginning, really suit yourself up, you know, and get yourself in that like, damn, I look good today, you know, which by the way, when you're doing that, please go ahead and update your profile pictures, because I cannot stand it when I look at a realtor and it's like a picture from 20 years ago. I know we've gone over this before, but like seriously, like I can't stand, like there's a picture of me out there that I can't stand because I have like dark hair, and I've tried to get rid of it and I can't. But my point being is that you should look good. Do the first couple times doing it. Then you can dumb it down to like, oh, I have no makeup on, so I'm going to change the filter on Snapchat to make me look better, you know, or Instagram it up. But I'm just saying, you definitely, if that's what makes you comfortable, if you're like, I have a girlfriend, she's gorgeous without makeup. So if she's comfortable doing it without makeup, then go all in, you know, but it's your comfort level is really the key.
Gotcha. Fantastic. And then third thing that you said was go in with intention. So don't just go on live, or don't create a video walking down the street having no idea what you're going to talk about. If you're going to go out there, and you know what I think it is? I think even in some way, it's almost disrespectful to go on Facebook Live and not have something to talk about. Because you all should know that when you go on Facebook Live right now, people that are connected with you get an announcement that you are there. You've basically knocked on all of their doors. Facebook is knocking on everybody's door for you. And if you knock on someone's door and you don't have anything to say to them, like, that's kind of rude. So now at the same time, people do want to hear from you. They're friends of yours. They want to hear from you. They just don't want you to waste their time. So if you're going to go out there, share with them something that's worth their time. And that could be a moment, that could be a feeling, that can be a beautiful sunset. I can't tell you, I never will get tired of somebody showing me the beach, the sunset, the waves. I don't live by a beach. I love it. So that's straight up. That's value to me. But don't just, you know, I don't know, show your shoes unless they're like super hot, something, you know, whatever. But those are some big takeaways that I gathered from what you were saying.
Focus on your fear is really big for me. You know, if there is something bothering you, then you really need to know what it is that's bothering you and why it's bothering you. So, you know, I mean, if it really is coming down to you're embarrassed because you have, you know, maybe a gap in your front teeth, you know, you're always going to have that. So if you're not doing anything to change it, then you've got to understand that it's not going to go away, and people already see you with your gap in your teeth. So you've just got to own it. And it's about being comfortable, but face that fear. So many people are afraid of who they really are. And people, you get one life. You get one shot at this, one up at the inning, right? Is that right, baseball? I'm not the huge sports fan. It's like you get one shot, you know, to quote Eminem, you know. So take it all in and I'm sorry, balls to the wall. You're either all in or get the hell out of the game, because there's no point in just like half-assing it, you know? I mean, so that's kind of where I'm at with life. You know, you just got to own it and you've got to go at it with everything you got. And, you know, I mean, there's plenty enough out there to make us sad. And there, you know, and I'm not saying I'm not sad, because God knows I struggle with it every day. But you know what? We all have excuses. So every time you say, I'm not going to do a video because, you know, it's like, well, that's your excuse. We all have excuses. I have an excuse every day to wake up and cry the entire day. But I don't want that. You know, I don't want that for my son. I don't want that for anybody to feel bad for me. I want to get up and do something else. So, and I always realize that there's somebody out there that has a worse excuse. You know, someone out there, you know, just learned they had cancer today. Someone out there just learned the worst news of their life today. So there's always a better excuse than whatever you're going to give. So think of it that way. Think of it like, oh, my excuse is, you know, I'm not having the best hair day. Really? So brush your hair and give it a whirl. You know what I mean? So there, you only get this one bat, people. So take your bat and go, you know? Am I saying that term right? The batting thing?
You're explaining everything. And fortunately, I'm capturing this on Snap too.
Put the filter on.
I got the great moment. Yeah, no, it's cool that people can not only hear from you certain hacks, certain ways to handle an uncomfortable situation. I'm gonna throw one out. I'm gonna add maybe a fifth to your list actually right now. This is what I did to overcome my anxiety with getting on camera at the beginning. Was I used Snapchat. That's where I started, because I started Snapchat before Facebook Live came out, and I went for a week being the only person watching my snaps. So I didn't invite anybody. I was on private mode. Nobody could see me or anything I was doing, but I used it all day. And every day I would look at it and go like, oh, this is terrible. Oh, you sound like an idiot. Or you're getting cut off all the time at the end. You're not finishing your sentences. Or, oh, this shirt's uncomfortable. Whatever it is. And every day I would do it until I got so tired of being my own critic. I just got tired of myself. I basically told myself to shut up. I was annoying. And honestly, I think people should understand a little bit about how their brain works. I don't know if you ever thinking about something, you ever like hear yourself thinking? You ever get like nervous? Yeah. So there's a lot of people that will actually say there is more than one you. There's lots of voices going on in your head that are talking. And so sometimes you need to realize you may have a voice in your head that's annoying, that's incorrect, that's not going to help your life, that's hurting your life in some way. And so take a week, start paying attention to that voice, Don't let anyone else see you on camera. You will get to the point where you get so tired of that voice, you say, all right, you can keep on talking. I'm going live.
Right.
So,
That's the whole, you got to own it. You know, you become aware and you're just like, you know what? The people that like me are going to resonate with me. We're going to have our synergism. And the people that don't get me, they're never going to get me. So, you know what? You don't need to follow me. You don't need to, we don't need to embrace each other, and that it comes down to clients like that too. I mean, a lot of people worry, especially real estate, there's some of that old school mentality of this is mine, don't touch this. I don't want to play with you. Why do you want to come in my sandbox? And they're so afraid. And I'm like, you know what? The kind of customer that might come to me is not the same kind of customer that you're going to have, because we're different types of people. And when you understand that, there's plenty of business out there, everybody's going to find who they work best with. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I fired customers because I'm like, you know what? We're just not jiving. And that's okay. You're okay to do that. And that's what people got to know. You have to understand who you are and what kind of people you want in your life. For me, the reality of life is so real that I just say, you know what? If you're not doing it for me, there's the door, and I love you, but I don't need to put up with that. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing when it comes to doing your videos. If you're not having people that support you, if people are not finding what you do, if they want to talk about you behind your back because you're doing a video, what are they doing? My friend Annette here, she was telling me how somebody said to her, oh, you talk too much during your videos. And she was like, this one person said something to me and it made me like go, oh my God, maybe I should stop doing videos. And then I realized she's not even freaking doing the videos. She's not even doing them. Right? So it's like, who is she to judge if she's not doing them? So, well, boom, how can one person tell you who you are?
Yeah. Just saying. Sue, thank you so much for sharing this with everybody. This is very generous of you. No, it's my pleasure to have you, really. And I think over time, as people are watching this and listening to this later, and people that are scared to get on video, watch this and see not only the challenges that you've overcome, but also how you compartmentalize and how you've organized, how you handle the stresses of going on camera. I think it's something that's going to be very, very beneficial to them and very helpful to them. So on behalf of everybody that is going to go on film, that's going to go on camera, that is going to build relationships, to be clear, everybody, we're not just telling you to go on camera to go on camera. We're actually telling you not to go on camera to go on camera. We're telling you to go on camera because you want to share something of value and you want to build relationships. And hopefully, people are going to watch this, and because of you, they're going to build better relationships. They're going to, they're going to make more calls, so to speak, more video dials because of what you share with them. And it's going to make the world a better place because you're really helping people connect. So thank you.
I really like coaching people. So if people have questions, because I know there are things out there that maybe we didn't address,
How do they reach you? How do people reach you?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook. It's Sue Pinky Benson. So you can reach out there. Snapchat, I think it's technically Sue Benson Remax because I didn't know how that worked when we first started. Snapchat, you need to change that shit. Okay, just so you know. So we can change our names on there. Instagram, it's Pinky knows Naples. Snapchat gods, please fix that.
Snap now.
Reach out to me. However's easiest for you. I'm on most platforms, and let me know, what are your fears? What is it that it takes you to do a video? What is it that is just holding you back? Because I really am intrigued by the idea, and I want to help.
Thank you very much. And if anybody would like my help, my name is Michael Meier. You can reach me on Facebook at Michael Meier NYC. That's Meier. On Snapchat, the same handle. This is broadcasting from MeierRealEstate.com. This has been the Real Estate Social Rockstar Show. Sue, thank you very much once again. 2 high fives going on, raising the roof, all the love. Thank you so much. Bye, Sue.
Bye.